Welcome to the session 16 of Patanjali meditation. This is our last concluding session of the current course, Patanjali Meditation 101. We have discussed a lot of issues and we will be wrapping it up today in this concluding session. And if we are practicing meditation on a daily basis, then I am sure you are able to talk and walk together as we have been doing. Let's devote first few minutes on the practice part of Patanjali meditation. So this is our 16th session. We devote based on this 5-step approach of Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga. Let's take on a body posture. Elastic at our so once we are bodily framed up properly, we can disconnect from the body. Let's take control of our breathing. It is only temporary control for the second step of deep breathing. We will do 3 full cycles of deep breathing, 4 phases in each breathing cycle. Breathe out. Hold the breath out. Breathe in. Hold the breath within. Breathe out. Hold the breath out. Breathe in. Hold it within. One more last cycle. Breathe out. Hold it out. Breathe in. Hold it within. We take a very brief pause because in the previous step our mind was our breathing. Now we disconnect our mind from the breathing and let our body do it in its automated manner. Let's instruct our mind with the code word recited 5 times together. Oh. 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 Oh, we can gradually open our eyes. Last week we have discussed a very important element in our life and how Patanjali meditation, how Patanjali meditation can help us in getting into the natural rhythm of life, something what we call love, which is so important that we derive it in our life from the mother. A child obtains so much from his mother, not quite listed down, but all that can be summed up as mother's love. We have seen in the later part of the course, as we have advanced, how in the moments of inactive mind, what transformation is happening. We have seen in the later phase of our course, in the last 4 to 5 weeks, when we have concentrated on the inactive part of the mind, deep in meditation, what we call time mindlessness, as opposed to mindfulness, then different kind of transformations can take place, changes in our personality, the content in our mind. Not only mind getting rest, but going through change by a process of what we called in a vague term, through a crude analogy, as washing and servicing. So that changes the very much content of my mind. That is what my personality is. And not only that, there is a possibility of gaining new flash of new knowledge, new ideas, creative ideas. And then we are noticing that we are filled with an inner energy once the mind is going through the cleansing process that makes it more able for me to react, link with others with pure, genuine love. Because basically, love is to give, and it requires a great deal of self confidence that I can give. Because the common man thinks I have limited resources, how can I give to so many people? But that inner energy brings him to a level at a higher potential where he or she can think, yes, I can develop a positive bonding with others where I am more concentrated in giving. Because whatever I give will be replenished by that infinite reservoir source of energy in the universe. So these are all aspects of life that we have discussed. Today, in our final concluding session, we are more or less going to make a final wrap up and review. And as I said in the very early part of the course, we are not going much into the Sanskrit and Patanjali's specific statements, Though we started with his first statement of yoga is chittavritti nirodha, yoga is to bring my mind skin absolutely blank. Other than that, we have not made reference to what Patanjali's Sanskrit statements are. But today I will attempt, because in the last 15, 16 weeks of that you appreciate the underlying philosophy of Patanjali. If you are interested, of course, then as you know, probably the second level of the course is Yoga Sutras. So if you are interested, we can think of going in that direction. Let's proceed further from here. I've said again and again, look at this course as not that we are revolting, but there is an underlying current of defiance. Patanjali meditation, based on the fact that there are some common prevalent ideas and we can dissociate from them. If we remain stuck with them, then that will not let us go into Patanjali meditation, which can unlock a number of hidden potentials within every one of us. So the very first thing we noticed is, if you visit your doctors here in their clinics, etc., when they put their stethoscope on your chest and back, ask you to do deep breathing, you are doing deep breathing at a chest level and they are trying to diagnose something in your body frame. It's very less likely that a doctor is going to tell you that you should modify your breathing pattern so that it is initiated from the abdominal muscles through the diaphragm. A normal practice, and it is a norm that whatever way you are breathing, it is very fine. But in Patanjali meditation, we emphasize this point right at the beginning, that we want to dissociate from this normal norm. We want to change our breathing the way we started in our childhood, namely abdominal diaphragmatic breathing. The diaphragm is the main agent to make the breathing happen really in a proper manner. And we saw it that Patanjali is genius, that he has integrated this in the step number 2, what is called pranayam, in integral part of Ashtanga Yoga, and we have tried our best to benefit from it. And I feel confident that many of you by now might have noticed that your breathing has normal breathing, what is happening 24 by 7, has probably shifted downward, has become deeper. Otherwise, you should aim towards this. This should be an objective, that as you are practicing Patanjali meditation in the future, your breathing pattern must become deeper and deeper. And of course, we have devoted 2 or 3 sessions on this important aspect. On the day one when you came here, I wouldn't be able to convince you that Patanjali meditation will have some influence on your physical health. Probably on day one, we just said that your mind will become calm and so on and so forth. But this is the defiance number 1, which I have listed here. It's so powerful because, after all, air, or in particular oxygen, is our survival life support substance number 1, which is abundantly available, but we are not able to induct it, supply to the right quantity to our body system. And if that is corrected, this will begin being enormous advantage benefit for your physical health. And that now we can appreciate today much better in this towards the end of the course, that Patanjali meditation is good not only for the mental calm and peace and focus and clarity and so on and so forth, but is also very good for physical health. You have greater immunity, and I must say, all this I have seen in my personal life. There was a time I would pick up cold and coughing and this 3 or 4 times a year, and at least once a year it will become fever. But for last few years I don't remember. Nothing has happened. And even if I catch a cold, earlier it used to be with me for 5, 6, 7 days or something like that. Nowadays, not more than a day, it just disappears. So, that is the power of breathing properly. Defiance number two is again related to something so simple and so prevalent, what we call sleep. But sleep is something our medical scientists all are concerned with. Though the life has become quite mechanized, yet one thing is there, nobody says sleep is something we should do away with or we should not be bothered about. Even if you search in magazines and internet, everybody says we should have good night's sleep. But there also, if you if you have a normal sleep pattern, as we have seen the sleep hypnogram, if day in and day out, every morning you wake up with a collection of dreams, I don't think any doctor or anybody in the health sector is going to make a big issue with it. They will say this is normal. But now, as you are practicing Patanjali meditation, we can look forward to a higher state where I feel confident that I deserve a better quality of sleep that is characterized by the fact that when I wake up in the morning, I am less likely to recollect dreams. And that some of you might be noticing, otherwise, this is also something you can look forward to, that with time, your sleep should become deeper and deeper. What is the common acceptable sleep hypnogram with stage 1, 2, 3, 4 in with non-rapid eye movement, and sleep usually ending up with IEM part of sleep where you have vivid recollection of your dreams. We are dissociating from it. We say that a Patanjali meditation practitioner can have much better sleep hypnogram. And that will have influence on your entire day, your mental makeup, and many, many things, overall, your health and wellness. The defiance number three is also today, if you go into the open world, of course, most of the people are in learning what is called yoga, which actually is Hatha yoga, but there are people who go for meditation. Even that sector is occupied with what is called mindfulness meditation, which has its benefits. And as I've said, that corresponds to our step number four, what is called dharana. But Patanjali's prescription goes much beyond that, beyond dharana to dhyan and samadhi, etc., where we are seeking a state when mind is thoroughly inactive. Of course, there is a degree of 0 to 100%, so we are in that wide spectrum, but I have always tried and almost emphasized this point that let us walk as far as possible in that wide spectrum towards what I call absolute nothingness. So our mind scan is absolute nothingness. We may never reach there, but let us aim towards that. And that I have characterized with a term, not a very nice term, but mindlessness, where I metaphorically I am imagining I am in a deep inside in my cave where I can go alone without mind. It is such a narrow passage that mind cannot accompany me. So if that is my objective, to make my mind thoroughly inactive, disconnect from it, and then walk alone into the cave. And in one of the sessions we have seen, once I am in the cave, I have a taste of what is called absolute happiness also. So all these concepts are very important, but if you are stuck with mindfulness, where you are with eyes closed in a particular body posture, seemingly in meditation, but your mind is focused on your breathing, then this is a dynamic phenomenon and your mind will remain absorbed there for 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes. You get stuck at a dead end. So I am not against mindfulness, but I am saying you come out of that box and think slightly on a larger frame that I can focus my mind towards nothingness and end up with nothingness. So that will be mindlessness beyond mindfulness. These have been our three cardinal milestones where we were defying the common man's thinking. And without offending anybody, we are just saying we are trying to learn what Patanjali is attempting to teach us. Let's get into the slight philosophical aspect, not much into that, but those who have interest in that. And there is a word which I have not said much often, but for some of you, that may be the start of a new journey, what we can call a spiritual journey. So, having come up to the end of Patanjali Meditation 101, for those who are interested in, for many, yes, it brings us a lot of benefits, and this is something, of course, my final message is the course is ending today. Do keep on devoting certain time, maybe make it 10, 12, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is, on daily practice of meditation. So that should, it's like many things we do every day, taking a shower every day. So make Patanjali meditation practice something like that. Eating food every day. There are so many things our system does automatically every day, and that is part of our day-to-day life. So Patanjali meditation should become one more element in your everyday life. But some of you may want to think beyond that. So for them, I am discussing what could be the onset of a new spiritual journey. So the very first question, which I think every sensible, intellectual human being ought to ask himself, who am I? Who is this me? I see my photograph 10 years ago. My face has changed slightly. I am undergoing certain changes, transformation, manifestation. But within this changing body frame, there is something that is constant. So if I recollect something that happened to me 20 years ago, sometimes I get so much immersed in it, I am part of that event which took place 20 years ago. I can play back my internal VCR to 20 years, 40 years back and just feel that that was same me who is sitting here today. That sense of constancy is provided by something. That is what Patanjali says is my soul, my self, my spirit, my consciousness. So on the day one, we started with this framework that I am body, mind, and soul. This is truly the me, my soul, my consciousness, whereas body and mind are my instruments. So that truly is me. I am that self, soul, or spirit, whatever is the word, that consciousness, much deeper in the mind. And with this practice of Patanjali meditation, we have slight sense of it. When we are deep in meditation, it's not like being deep in sleep. Deep in sleep, you are just totally in blackout. There is absolutely no awareness. While when we are deep in meditation, there is some sort of awareness. Even if you are in absolute nothingness, that means the mind skin is exhibiting nothing. The mind skin is blank, but you, the observer, are still there. In deep sleep, you have no idea about your own self. And that is how meditation differs from deep sleep, because you preserve your self awareness. That makes you confident to say that you are somebody further deeper in mind. We may not exactly know who am I, but I am deeper in my body, deeper somewhere, even much deeper in the my mind shell of my mind. So that is, there is a word, we just borrow it. People may have different ideas about that word. We just call it my spirit, because that gives rise to the word spirituality. Otherwise, I have no love for any of these words, but just to convey certain ideas, we rely on certain vocabulary. So when I say spirituality, this is an inquiry of my own self. Who am I? So if you are in that direction, Patanjali meditation is a good journey, helps you explore who you are. Let's look at a few more slides. Humans, we have discussed it in the context of new creative ideas and new flash of new discoveries of knowledge. Knowledge is the greatest force, and we know it. Mind force is superior to the body force. A small boy sits on the head of an elephant and makes him move here and there. That is the power of the human mind. But today we are having discussed that there is an onset of a spiritual journey. There is a force associated with my spirit. The force is very powerful, of course, so much so that makes a difference between a living human being and the dead body. That entity has departed. So we call that person, that is departed soul. Only the dead body is lying here, that we just do something to dispose it of. So that entity has so much force that it can make the difference between living body and dead body. So that spiritual force is superior to any other force, including the mind force, which we talked so much about it last time. And that is the spiritual energy we are talking, and that is what Patanjali meditation can fill up with. And that is the power of Patanjali meditation. I devote two slides on Patanjali's philosophy. I'm trying to put a lot together, but I hope if you are attentive, you will get the meaning out of it. This is Patanjali's philosophy, or you can say it is the Vedic philosophy, because as I said, the six books of what is called six books of Vedic philosophy are basically detailing the Vedic philosophy, and Patanjali's Yoga is one of them. Those six books are Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshik, Mimamsa, and Vedanta. So this is Patanjali's philosophy of yoga, which is not anywhere different from Vedic philosophy, but I like it for several reasons, as I will point out in these two slides, but basically for two enormously important reasons, because Patanjali's philosophy is an attempt to validate Vedic philosophy. As I was saying, showing you in the previous slide, who am I if I am that tiny spirit? I know it only when I am deep in meditation. So Patanjali's philosophy helps me validate the spiritual basis of the Vedic philosophy. And not only that, when I am deep in meditation, some wonderful things are happening to my body and mind. So Patanjali's philosophy has a lot of aspect. It is very useful for a common man. Somebody who is not interested in philosophy, he will also benefit from a calm, peaceful mind. So Patanjali's philosophy is good. It can take you in one extreme to the validation of the very complex questions of life, and on the other extreme, even a common man can benefit just by devoting a few minutes on meditation. So that's the benefit of Patanjali's treatise on yoga. So I am a composite of body, mind, and soul. This is also a very complex topic. Not everybody will accept it that there is a soul within this body frame, but let's make that as a starting point, because in the previous slide we have said in meditation, and now all of you are meditation practitioner, you will probably agree that when our mind is blank, something is left over. That something is myself, whatever you call it, soul, spirit, self, consciousness, that is just a matter of semantics. So that is my starting point. Otherwise, if I have to talk to a man on the street, we will need many, many hours and days and months that yes, there is a soul within me. That is a starting point. Now, in the second bullet point, we are saying if you observe your 24 hours, we go through a different sorts of life experience. But all of those life experiences can be treated as a mix of three primary colors like joy, pain, and dormancy. So when you are in deep sleep, your dormancy color is very, very dominant. When you are very, very excited, happy, smiling, laughing, the color of joy is dominant. When you are looked down, your long face or some, you are let down, then the color of pain is dominant. And all other situations are a mix of these three. When their proportions are different, you get rise, you give that give rise to any state of any human being at any point of time. That is a wonderful philosophy. I don't know how do these philosophers get to know of it. So what they are saying is, in typical 24 by 7, I am connected to my mind, particularly my mind screen, what is called chitta, that is made of matter, and matter has three strands of joy, pain, and dormancy. Now, those fluctuations, like sometimes I said, mind is like an ocean, so all kinds of waves are there. So, depending on interplay of these three colors, the chit has a particular state, and you are watching that screen and you say that is what is happening to me. That's how the common man's life is going on. He pulls on his life days after days, years after years, and so on and so forth. It is just the interplay of these three colors which show up, and he is one of them. But then, whether it is joyful state, painful state, or dormancy, none of them is permanent. So that is what Patanjali is trying to say, that these are the attributes of your mind. If they were your own attributes, you would be in that state for as long as you want, but it is not happening like that. So these are not your own attributes, They are the attributes of the closest instrument of yours, what is called chitta. So third bullet point, excuse me, third bullet point is saying they indicate fluctuations of my mind made of matter. There are three Sanskrit terms that is not that important. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, which gives rise to joy, pain and dormancy. So the whole story of a human being is interplay of what is happening on his mind, and that mind is going through three, jumping here and there depending on so many factors, external situations, forces, etc., etc. So that is where somebody is trying to encourage us to take charge of your life. Don't become just slave of this mind. It's wonderful instrument, but think beyond it. So that is what Patanjali is trying to tell us. Let's move on with these bullet points. He makes another wonderful observation. Even though I am connected to my mind, and that brings all kinds of experiences, many of them are so pleasant, we would like to repeat them one after another. But then he says, all these are very subjective in nature. None of them is permanent. So much so, if something we enjoyed very much in our childhood, playing some games or some toys, or today when I look at that toy, I have no attraction to it. Things have changed with time, with the space, and with the environment. Everything is transient, is subjective in nature. That applies to all the multiple billions of life experience. And that is their genius. He points out there is one life experience which is very unique in the sense which is found pleasant by one and all and every time. Every time you have deep sleep, if you come out of it naturally, you say that was good. And it's not you alone, all the 7 billion human beings will say that. That was good, though we don't have an idea where was I, what was it, but we say it was very good. That is sound sleep. That is Patanjali's genius. I have no idea how these people come up with all these fantastic ideas. Then he says, Patanjali meditation attempts to create that same state but in a conscious. So we take charge of our mind and we say, you become absolute inactive the way you become when I am in sound sleep. But now I am not going to lie down in my bed. I am in this sitting conscious mode. I want to have a real time taste of that. So Patanjali meditation, as we I aim towards nothingness, is aiming towards conscious real time taste of what this sound sleep is. I am empowered by knowing that absolute happiness. That is what we have discussed a couple of weeks ago. If I reach that point, I will have absolute happiness, which otherwise I have in sound sleep. So that absolute happiness, I want to taste it, but then I also know I am humble enough. It is not my inherent attribute. If it was my own attribute, I will always be happy. So there is something in my cave that makes me taste that absolute happiness. That is also wonderful. Now I know it. That gives me confidence that I have a inner source of happiness. I don't have to seek it in the outer world, but that is not my own attribute. Otherwise, I would always be in that state. So that is something, a part of a universal force. We just call it Mother Nature. So as I attempt to do so, that is the beautiful, practical, pragmatic part of the Patanjali's philosophy. As I attempt to do this spiritual journey, every day devoting 10, 20 minutes or so, I am, my mind is transformed and purified. I become a naturally good human being, like a small child, isn't it? Innocent child, who has so much power that his smile can make others smile. So that's what we can become, even if we are not interested in the spiritual journey. So that's what we have shared and seen it closely. So, validation of spiritual principles, because the time is running fast and I lost my time in testing certain things on the laptop. So, we are doing currently the course January to May 2016, which is going on a spring term. We have met here Central Time Wednesday 6 to 7 p.m. This was course Patanjali Meditation 101. I call it Patanjali Meditation for beginners. This was full 16 sessions, but within that there were smaller subsets. Let's look at them. Very first 6 sessions was the basic module when some people came and they thought they have had enough of it, what is called basic module of which we gave it a number PM100. So that was integral part of this course. Now I want to focus on some more smaller elements in this course, because if you want to carry forward the beautiful message of Patanjali meditation, because the world is very busy, people are very busy. They may not come for 16 weeks. So I said, if you want to devote 6 weeks, come to us. Some people came, but many people won't even come for 6 weeks. So we say our very first session, session one, is tester session. These are names so that we can communicate. I can communicate to you. So first session is tester session, where the man on the street comes and is listening to you 45, 50, 60 minutes and gets to know what meditation is. Sometimes somebody says, I don't have even 1 hour's time. Then we want to tell him, you come here, spend some 15 to 20 minutes with us, and I will guide you how to go into meditation. So we will call it as guided Patanjali meditation, doing at the end of every session. So you know what I mean. Every session is ending with 15 minutes or so. I want to do it longer, but somehow time frame is critical, and today we are further delayed. So what we do towards the end is I will call guided Patanjali meditation. So you have an idea of nomenclature. The big 16 session is PM101, first 6 session PM100, first session tester session, and just 15 to 20 minutes guided Patanjali meditation. So what am I going to do in the next fall term, August to December? I plan a teacher training program on Patanjali meditation, where some of you, and there was a similar batch a year ago, who did a course similar to this, Patanjali Meditation 101, but with a lot of Patanjali's philosophy put in. So that was course in the last year fall. Now this year 2016 spring. So all those two batches will be invited if they want to become a teacher of Patanjali meditation. You don't have to become a teacher for PM101. You can aim to become a teacher for PM100. You say, no, I don't want to go that much. I just want to teach test session. Or you can say, I just want to teach 20 minutes of guided Patanjali meditation. Whatever is your objective, we will next in the fall term, August to December 2016, we will do this program, which will be slightly different from format point of view. I will make it more informal. We will be sitting in a round table kind of a thing in a close by, and it will also be in distant mode via webinar. but they will be able to communicate to us, not one way, but that will be two-way. My phone line will be open and it will be interactive. I will make it happen that every day, every one of us has something to say. If nothing to say, you share your experience. So we will be very interactive. Of course, I will be as a teacher, but not as a one way, you know, we will be working together. So we will send out an email finding out who is interested. You respond to it that yes, I want to join that program. Those who have expressed interest, then we will have a lot of correspondence because I would ask those individuals to tell me what they want to learn so that they become confident as a teacher. So, the curriculum will be decided with all of us put together and we will enter into that exercise in next few weeks so that last week of August we are ready to start with that program. So that's where we are ready to sit for a meditation, but it's 6:53 now. And I think these two slides where I used to list all the benefits, they will be there in the recording. So, we don't have to list it again. Just want to end on a positive note with a very brief meditation session dedicated to Patanjali, the Rishi, the sage Patanjali, whose message is benefiting us and can benefit the entire world. Let's devote a quick 7-8 minutes of meditation, just taking 2 minutes extra. 2 minutes past 7, the session will be over. Going in the webinar room, yes, we do 3 cycles of deep breathing with 4 phases in each cycle. Deep breathe out, hold the breath out, breathe in, hold the breath within, breathe out, hold the breath out, breathe in, hold the breath within, one more last cycle, breathe out, hold it out, breathe in, hold it within, a short pause. Let's instruct our mind with 3 times the code word Om. Om. Oh, we can gradually open our eyes. I think I have just one slide. We have been emphasizing daily practice, yes. So we have looked at all these possibilities. Of course, the central bullet point is everyday practice of meditation with empty, light stomach, morning or evening. And I guess some of you are doing twice a day also. And use an alarm if there is a time constraint. All these are guidelines. You decide which way you want to do it. And I have noticed some of you are doing as long as 40 minutes, 60 minutes, I have seen. Besides that, when you get a small time durations, just observe your breathing. The bullet point number one, utilize it for abdominal breathing if you are stopped at the traffic light or something like that. And then we have discussed there is another possibility with your good practice of meditation, you can be absorbed deep inside even when you have a few moments. And that also does something like taking a sip of water. Just 1 minute of sitting calm that changes your mind frame and can be very helpful. Thank you all very much for joining me for this length of the course. I wish you all the best.